All right, so going to be doing a mock draft. Had someone request it, and I felt like it's appropriate to do it because one, we have a better idea how these college prospects are trending. Are they doing better, worse, injured, stuff like that? Two, we have a better idea what the Patriots need. Yes, it's just about everything, but we have a better idea of how it's going to higher priorities. And then three, we also have a better idea where these guys are going to pick. Now, yes, we don't know because it's not the end of the season yet, but if it was to end today, it would be third. With how many games they have left and who they're playing, I can't see them really making their way outside the top 10. So, 6 rounds. The Patriots should be able to hit at least a blue chip player, especially now a lot of the quarterbacks will be sucked up because of positional value. We could trade back a decent amount and still be able, or be moved back a decent amount too. Drop down and still get some quality players, which is good. It's a year to suck. It's a really good year to not be a good team. This draft is deep. It's got good positional value, depth and positions of high value. And like I said, the Patriots need just about everything. So we're not in a like, we need a little bit more. We need a little bit more. We need a little more of this. We need to do better, more. Yeah, there's some things, if they're there, you're going to take it. But if there's a guy who's a higher grade on your board, you got to take, and it's either that or pick up something that you think it might be a higher value. You might want to go with the higher valued guy, right? The higher graded guy on your board versus the needs, because everything is in play this year. And because the pitfall at the end of this year in terms of free agency and next year in terms of free agency is going to be a problem, because you're either going to be signing back a lot of your current free agents, right? Guys that are coming up this year at a higher value, soaking up that whole entire cap space that everybody wants to talk about, and cash. And the same thing can happen the following year, right? You guys that on a 2-win team are going to be some of the best players at free agency these next 2 years. And they're going to be asking for more money because the market's going to demand it. So either we're going to be having to go that route, or you're going to let them all go and you're going to have not enough players, and you're going to be signing 4th or 5th best guys at the positions, still at a higher value than you think they're worth. But in order to like not pay top dollar, you're going to let your one guy walk. But here's the problem. You do the 1-for-1, right? And the comp pick gets thrown away. So, see, this pitfall is worse than I think people understand. It's a lot. The next, like, it's opportunities to go get free agents. But, hey, we're not in a position to go get great free agents because we haven't had 2 or 3 great drafts in a row to build upon. You need to have that, because that's how you fill out a squad of good players on rookie contracts. That's how you can afford to go out and get the top free agents, and also afford to let some of your free agents walk and get those comp picks that can further, continue this run, hopefully, to be becoming a better team. Right now, we're in capitulation mode. You need to be dumping, right? Get down and accumulate as much, like, just your war chest of much value, much cash, draft picks as possible, and then reposition yourself and reassess and start the rebuild process, right? We've lost it. We've had bad free agency. We've had bad draft picks. Things aren't working out. I think everybody knows that. It's not like, doesn't mean it's everybody needs to go, but if it's eating up value, you got to get the best value for everything. We missed the opportunity on the trade deadline. A former Uche, who was a 2nd or 3rd round pick. He wouldn't be a 2nd or 3rd round pick in this draft from his college, especially his injury history. He would be like a 4th or 5th, 6th rounder this year. So go get that, because then you can at least, guy who barely ever plays, you can at least go get somebody and keep him on a rookie contract rather than force being played to get Uche. Anyway, let's start the draft. Now, let's go with this talk, which is, hey, there's 3 really good guys at the top of the draft. Right now, we have probably a shot at getting one of them. I think it probably will be Marvin Harrison Jr. if we are 3rd pick, because let's consider that both these guys have extra picks in the 1st round this year, right? So this is from Carolina, right, from last year's trade, right? So they have 2 in the top 5 right now, and then also Arizona has 14 something. Oh, there, 17th from Houston. And there's a few other guys that have some swaps around here. I know the Browns still have to give up theirs, right? The Houston. And then there's also the swap between Packers and the Jets. That's not a big deal, but point being is that there's some interesting dynamics going on in this first round. I don't think that's a coincidence because I think everybody knew that this draft was going to be loaded, and to have first round draft picks or draft picks in general were a good idea. Anyway, so here we go. Into the Marvin Harrison talk. I love Marvin Harrison. I think we could get a lot for him though, because every team can find a spot on their squad for a top wide receiver. Top quarterback, not always, right? You have one good quarterback. You can have all pro wide receivers all the way down to your fifth guy if you wanted to. If you really wanted to do it that way, it's possible. It's just you can't really have two quarterbacks on the field at the same time. You get multiple wide receivers. So if you're a team that's starting over, or if you're a team that's just like, we need a little bit more to get over the hump to get to be, the championship run, you pay for Marvin Harrison. So that gives us the ability to say, hey, give us multiple first-round picks. You give us 2 first rounds. See, like, here's the 7th. I'm not too bad. Let's see what we can do here. So here, another first-rounder, and then maybe 71 and 70, right? Now, we can't do that. We can't do 26 in here. But that's where I'd be at. Because then you can at least trade back, get some value. I would maybe probably think more of the Giants. We can probably be safe with the Giants. 7 we might miss out on Joe Alt and Olu. But let's not do any trade backs yet. Let's just go a straight through first just to see what we can get. So Marvin Harrison would be, I have no problem. No problem getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Your team would be better no matter what. Tackles. Wouldn't want any of these wide receivers, but maybe we double up on wide receiver. Target a tackle. I don't want... Shador's not coming, so we have to look at quarterback. Shador's not coming out. Carson's not going to probably come out. McCarthy I would take in that 50 to 75 range. Ewers is probably not coming out. I think he said he wasn't. Riley Leonard will probably go back because of injuries. Pratt, I think I heard that he's thinking about trying to get to a Power 5. So the next would be Spencer Rattler or Joe Milton. Yikes. So you see how, like, here's the problem, I think. I think if we don't trade back a little bit to possibly pick up Jayden Daniels or Joe Alt would be a problem. I think we could probably trade back, miss on Joe Alt, and maybe go after J.C. Latham or Fawaga for the right tackle position. If we can bring back Trent Brown. Here, I'm going to be... a little stressed here. We have a wide receiver, but I'm not going to get the value I want. Let's go. Do we get a little crazy with wide receiver? And understand that we won't have a good quarterback, but we might have a good wide receiver core for 2 years. It's not a bad idea. I'm going to go with Worthy here. Let's do this. This is a little nuts, I understand. Yeah, we got to take Guyton here. Got to take Guyton. Right tackle. This is hurting, see? Again, this is no trades. I'm not taking Penix or Nix or Daniels with the 3rd pick. It's absurd. I don't think Milroe's coming out at this year. I can't afford. I mean, who do we have left? I'll go with Milton. I'll target Milton at 140. I'm good with that. Jaden Hicks. Gonna have to. He's a box dude, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go with Jayden Hicks. Get some defensive, get some safety help. Adrian Phillips, he seems to be done. Guess this is what happens when, you know, maybe I could target Cam Ward. I don't know if I think Cam Ward is gonna go back. But we're gonna pretend he's gonna come out. I doubt he'll be there at that. Yeah. Even KJ Jefferson is not bad. I'm not saying he's first round in any way. This is probably not how I'd run it, but I just want to see. No defense either. That's how crazy this would be. Oh, sorry, we did get Jayden Hicks. But here's the thing. You're going to be like, that's crazy, but this is under the like. I want people to understand. Like as of right now, the unless some miracles really like something happens with our current rookie class, like Cole Strange shows up for some reason, like Thornton becomes good. There has to be like a lot of interesting things have to start occurring. Like with the guys we have in house, have to start randomly playing like amazing next year. For me not to go this, and we wouldn't even know it. We wouldn't know it for a couple years that doing something like this would be nuts. Because we need 2 wide receivers. The guys that we have are not quick enough. They're old. They're being beat up. Their knees are shot. Calves are done. It's an issue. Too many concussions. There's a lot of issues here. We need at least 1 tackle. There's some others that we can get in 7th and 8th round UDFA. We need some safety help. Adrian Phillips. Mills, who else? Duggar if he leaves. Jayden Hicks could probably help out there. We don't even know if Marte Mapu can play. We still don't have a pass catching receiving back. So there's that. At least that's off the board. He can play in the slot as well. And then Cam Ward, I doubt he'll be there in 6th round. I really doubt it. But if he is, that's a great pickup. Now, he might not be your first guy, but you never know what he can do against maybe Mac. Right? And then also he'd be pushing for your backup. So at least that's off the board, right? So then maybe next year you can have a better shot at targeting a quarterback. This idea might hurt you, but this is how you have to start building. You have to get something that's cement. Instead of taking shots and then hopefully getting things and spending too much draft capital that's going to sabotage you the next couple of years. Like think about these guys who've take the Panthers. Like, they just shot themselves in the foot so bad going after a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's good. I thought CJ Stroud was okay, and he's looking good this year. But that offensive line's holding up, and Tank Dell looks legit. I'm not saying that CJ Stroud's bad. It's just like, that's a good pick. That was a good time to pick him, and he'll be worthy of that. But as a first overall, Bryce Young, was he like 5'8", 5'9"? Are we serious? What? I mean, who does that? And you spent draft capital to get that. Give me, just, wow. All right, so let's talk about getting some draft capital here. Converting and compounding value. This is how you build teams. Who wants him? 9 might be a little too far out, but what are you going to give it for me? First, I need another first. Missed out there on top wide receiver tackle. Brock Bowers. So I did miss Jayden Daniels. Okay. Keep going. Newbin, easy draft. 41. Probably go with Xavier Worthy. That's a good one to pick up. 67, we can go after. Maybe pick up Troy Franklin. Okay. Who wants to give me something for this? I don't know if Brian Thomas is going to be coming out. He might. Don't worry, this is just an example of how you can take advantage of people that are going to be overly bullish on certain positions. Left tackle. Tackles are done. There's Rook. Inside D tackles done. 103. I think it might be time to actually target Zach. See, Cedric Van Pran, I think to me is better, but I think Cedric's probably a better pick. Actually, you know what? Much later on, we can go after another center because we don't even know if he's coming. All right, so maybe Audric would be a good idea to pick up. Mary picked up. I mean, Jane's a little more of a box guy. Yeah. Well, I still have a shot at that. Yeah. Zach Frazier's not a bad pickup, but I think Cedric Van Pran's better. Monk would be good though later on. Yeah, I'm not gonna push getting a center yet. Monk or Foster later on. Zach Zinter as a guard is very intriguing though. He had surgery though. I don't know on what. So I'm gonna wait for that until we know what. If he had surgery, I figure out what the issue was there. Anybody want to trade? Gladly trade out of this position for 4th next year. Not much going on here. It's amazing. You can watch this and be like, yo, no wonder you guys are bad. Really not much moving me. Braylon Allen's an easy pick. Lobe. Cooper Beebe, easy pick. Jaheim Bell, easy pick. Wow. The fact that these guys would even possibly be picked up this late is absurd. And then probably Cam Ward, if actually Gadsden's probably the better pick for us right here. Crazy to consider this, but he's injured. That's why he's this far back. Now he's got a Liz Frank injury, but he injured it early enough in the season that he probably should be back by the start of the season. I don't know. He's been out. He might have the red shirt option, so he might be looking at him as a possible returning next season. Now, again, this is absurd, but I just want you to think about how you can transform value. All right, this be something you might see over a year, multiple years. But look at how you can get this type of level by unloading. If we can't utilize Marvin Harrison Jr. for at least 2 seasons, then you might want to think about developing that base from him, right? Because you still got next year a whole nother draft first round pick from him. Well, not only that, you got a second, a third, and a fourth this year. Now that second, a 41st pick also turned into a third. You also got you got a third, so a second, a third, another third, a fourth, and a first. Right? Yeah. And then like 73, what did that turn into? 78. That was ours. But notice what we got for that. Got tight end Maye. Might not be realistic, but this is how aggressive you got to be when you're done. You're done. It's get young, get interesting. Let's just say this: the NFL level, NFL football is moving closer to college than college is moving closer to the NFL. It used to be the opposite, right? Or let's try to get as many people as close as you can to being NFL ready. But now the NFL has to move more towards college games, because guess what? You can't afford to pay these guys second contracts, so you have to play like how your rookies and guys on rookie contracts play more than how you want them to play at the NFL level. So you have to be looking young. I'm not wrong, that's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's how it should be. Anyway, this is again absurd, but all these guys would be lovely to have, and all these guys I would like even these guys in the 6th, I'd value at maybe the 3rd or 4th round. Braylon Allen in the 4th round's crazy. Gabriel Murphy, who plays all over for UCLA. Rook, 3rd. I'd see him more as a 2nd rounder, but 3rd round, that's fine. Kingsley being in the, this far back, kind of nuts. Guyton, same thing here. Those guys will probably be shifted up. Mitchell, I really would put him in the conversation with guys last year. Newbin, you're probably like, oh, why'd we go after that? Well, here's the thing. we need a safety, and Newbin plays all over the place. Right? Now, if we're targeting a quarterback, we were very, like, we didn't get what we wanted, and we have to get Jayden Daniels, right? That's the guy I'd probably go after, or even Bo Nix. Now, you're probably like, oh, Bo Nix. Let me tell you what. Bo Nix is, like, statistically the best quarterback at this point. We could get into that. Actually, hold on. Let's just, wait. What am I doing here? Just start draft. So let's see, Caleb. Having a great year, has had great years, right? Pretty good stats, right? Viewers 30 and 5. Considering he's in the pack, right? He's in the pack. Same thing as Bo Nix. Drake Maye, again, having a great year. Bo Nix. Whoa, what's going on here? Bo Nix is not having a bad year. And he doesn't have the same level of talent around him as... I mean, think about this. Yeah, Caleb has about 5 guys, right? He's got Brendan Rice, Dorian Singer, Mario Williams, Taj Washington. Am I missing another one in there? I might. He's got 4 or 5 guys that will probably be in the NFL next year as wide receivers. Jayden Daniels has... Malik Neighbors and Thomas, and then he's got, I forget his name, Carter, I think. That's one of the best wide receiving cores, and those 2 guys are freaks. Penix has probably the best. He'll have 3 guys drafted in the top, probably in the top 100, maybe 150. But Adunze being, top 10 pick. Polk will probably be a 2nd rounder. McMillan probably should be a 2nd rounder, but he got injured, so he'll go probably in the 3rd, maybe early 4th. Jordan Travis having Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. That might be the best 1-2 combination. But then again, there's Quinn Ewers, who has Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy. Notice I didn't say anything about Drake Maye having an amazing wide receiver group to throw to. Bo Nix doesn't exactly. He's got Troy Franklin, who I don't know how he's not considered a 2nd rounder. I always thought he was fringe first, but I don't see how he's. It's absurd. It just goes down to the depth of the draft. But it's still kind of crazy. There's some other guys that are ranked higher than he is, and it's like he hasn't done anything wrong all year. He's only been amazing. So, point being is I'm actually good with this order. I would go with that after Penix in the mid-second. McCarthy, I like him in between 50 and 75. Now, here's the issue, though, right? All these guys might be sucked up because all these teams need quarterbacks. All of them do, right? All the way up to about here. So it's possible they take them. Now, are some of these guys maybe a wide receiver away from making their quarterback a lot better? Yeah. So there's also all those wide receivers that could be put in the 1st round. But they also all need offensive lines because take New York, they need offensive line help more than really need quarterback help. They could take a quarterback, but they really need offensive line. These guys probably just need a little more offensive line. The Jets need more offensive line. These guys need more offensive line. And that just goes down the concept, which is, hey, the best teams in the league have good offensive lines. The offensive line is got to be priority 1. Unless you really like one of these quarterbacks. Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels are probably worthy of first round grades, I think, with their how they've played and what they can do. I love their physical. They're not beat up. Like Penix is, I mean, that guy's a cyborg at this point. He's had so many surgeries. He can't even throw correctly. He's older. I think he's technically older than Mac. Bo Nix is up there, but at least he's not beat up. Yeah, McCarthy's probably your next best target to be somebody that might be a year where you have Mac and him, battling it out in camp. Michael Pratt would be another guy we could target if he comes out, but I think Riley, Ewers, Beck, Sanders, all those guys are going back. So let's say if we can target one of these guys. So let's say we try to get to like 15 or 16 right here, right? And we can pick up on Knicks. So here's the Rams at 14. They would probably be looking for it, but let's just say they're not. First rounder. This. Second next year. Did we miss out on Nix and Daniels again? We did not. We're going to draft Nix. Now, can we pull out a wide receiver? Yes. Jalen Polk I wouldn't go after. Probably go after Rice in a little bit here. Gonna need... still have to go after Newman if he's on board. You can't pass that guy. Even getting Braswell would probably be a good pick here. Now we've got your edge, you got your safety, edge is done. Tyler Guyton here. Got a trade back here, 78. It's perfect. Sturdivant, I think, will probably go back another year. He's a freak. If he doesn't come out, I wouldn't mind picking him up on day 3. Very fast. Very powerful. Next, Cedric Van Pran. No. Stutman. He's been alright. He was trending very, looking really strong at the beginning of the year. Now he's kind of fading a little bit. He's doing alright. I wouldn't mind getting him later, even later on if you could. Question is, do we go 118? I'm going to still see if we can still get Michael Hall would probably be a good pickup. Braylon Allen's still on my radar. Jalen McMillan would be good. Or another wide receiver. Colson would be a nice pickup. Turner would be good. Ooh, Tyree. I forgot about him. Kyrie Jackson. Where was he from before? Georgia? He was a transfer. Had a good year this year. Fast. Yeah, I'm gonna do some things people don't like. Well, you know what? Goncalves, he can play inside, right? So he play left. I mean, left and right. Not inside. Oh, he did play a little bit inside, but left and right is what I'm looking at. I think he goes back one more year. He got injured. But let's take him. Tackles are done. Shipley's... Is he back in the game? Yeah, he was beat up. I'm going to go with Braylon here. and then go after Lobe, tight ends. Yeah, I'm going to have to go Lobe here. Unless... Yeah, I'm not going to freak out over that. Let's do Lobe's probably the better pick, even though it's 2 running backs in a row. Ricky Pearsall, perfect. Ben Sinnott or... Yeah, I'm going to go with Sinnott. I like him a little bit better now. I've been like... Jaheim Bell I'm still big on, but Sinnott is just... His tape's getting better. There's a few drops from over the shoulder, but it's probably less of his... Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him as a good ripper up the seam. All right, I'll stop doing the drafts, but that's if we want to go after, like, if we had to get a quarterback next year just to fill him in. Maybe Bo Nix turns into something, a placeholder or something like that, but not my favorite idea. If you believe Jayden Daniels is something, I don't like go. I mean, we converted a lot of value there, but that's conceding that we don't want. You'd have to be going into it understanding that you're drafting back, maybe going after a quarterback, but you also have to say, well, what happens if I don't want Bo Nix, I don't want Daniels, I don't want Penix, I don't want anybody else really inside the top 10 this year in value. If the other guys are there, and maybe there's just you trade to 10 from 3 to 10, and both Nix and Daniels get picked before that, you'd have to kind of have a whole nother strategy ready to go for what you want to do. But the good thing is if that was to happen, that means you're probably picking up like Alt or Olu Fashanu or Brock Bowers. You're picking somebody else that's a top 5 value, like cream of the crop at like 10. Right? Which, I mean, I think Brock Bowers is going to have just as much impact next year than Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have. It might not be all in terms of like stat line, but as like a contributing to blocking and being a offensive weapon, I think Brock Bowers is going to have just as much impact as at the NFL level than Marvin Harrison Jr. will. So if you can go trade back and still get somebody who's basically at that level. And like I said, offensive lines are a better indicator of good teams than good wide receivers are. Because you can have situations where you're a good wide receiver and you're in a pass-heavy offense, but your team still loses. For example, Justin Jefferson, right? Your offensive line can't do anything else but allow your quarterback to basically get killed throwing the ball to you. It doesn't matter. Your offensive line can't move the defense enough to allow your running backs to establish a run game, so you're a legitimate offense. You could throw the ball all you want, but good teams also run the ball because they have good offensive lines. You might devalue the running back as being the reason why it's occurring. I can understand that. But the offensive line is allowing that running back to move the ball. You need to have offensive linemen. You need to have good tackles that are going to allow you to pass the ball and also run the ball. Nothing happens on offense if you don't have a good offensive. Your worst teams have the worst offensive lines. Basically. I mean, unless you have totally inept coaching, play calling, or a quarterback that you decide to draft number 1 overall who's, about the size of a 6th grader. You could do that. You could just be dumb. Anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry for the long rant. So, but also notice we don't have any D tackles. We got Chris Braswell as an upright edge. We still need, I would probably go after in the 7th round, which I doubt he'll be there, be Birch. I think he's probably gonna move his way up into the 4th. But if we take a look, we could probably pick up a bunch of extra tackles. I don't know about if Wyatt's coming out this year, but Kieran was in there, Foster's in there, Christian Jones was not in there, Ruben Fatherly's not in there, which I think he'll come back. I think he was injured beginning of the year. But I don't think Caden Wallace was in there. Zion was in there. Oklahoma Roos, yeah. Jack Nelson I saw in there. Coleman's in there. Chris Walker's not in there. Belton's in there. He's not in there. He's really good. He's having a great year. Robert Scott Jr., not sure if he was. Coker's good. He's in there, though. Anin Dankwa. Big monster of a dude. When he's on, he's great. I think I have to put that Mike Edwards. I have to move this around. I have to put Mike Edwards higher than Dankwa. But Mike Edwards, I'd love to see if we can get him late round. Same thing with Marquise Cox. Mike Edwards, you might even be able to get UDFA. Garrett Greenfield, another guy that's solid. Mason Richmond, I don't think I guess he can. See what I'm saying? Like, these guys are solid. You don't even, I mean, you're not watching. Maybe you're not watching all these games, but I'm going down to 38, and these guys I'd put, like, draftable. Very much draftable. And there's a lot of guys in here that are also draftable that I'm, discounting because I haven't watched them enough. Byers is good, too. That's Trevor Penning's brother. Could be a great UDFA pickup. Or if he gets invited to a Senior Bowl. This guy's a monster, right? Yeah, 6'10". I don't know what's going on with him, but they call him Tank. No wonder. 6'10". Skinny, though. You notice that? He's very thin for his size. The guy from Boston College, where was he? He's good, too. Bryce Barnhart from Nebraska. This guy's good, too. Oh, 330. Wow, 6'9", 330. I got to look at him again. Ryan Cole's solid from Richmond. Alan Pierce. Guy from Eastern Kentucky. Blake Larson, Augustana. You have to go really deep for him. I have to watch him again. I haven't watched too much. He's pretty light, but I have to watch him. He's got good technique. High motor, too. Connor Colby, who's, I think, should be coming out. I don't know if he is. I have to move him up. He's way up there. I'd put him in totally draftable. Mendoza, I know, is transferring, so I have to move him out. But notice I just said a whole bunch of other guys that you could possibly do UDFA with. You have to go deep digging for him. Wide receivers, there's plenty of wide receivers that will go undrafted. So my draft grades for most of it ends to probably right around here. Luke McCaffrey, I think is he a 5th or a 4th year? I think he might have another year of eligibility. I might be wrong, but Savion Williams, like, he's gonna. If you're gonna tell me he's gonna go undrafted, Javon Baker, Jackson Jakey, he's solid. Where else is the other one? Yeah, Jadon. Smoke Harris. You have to watch him. Have to watch that guy. He's electric. Restrepo's got a lot of yards this year. Solid guy. Jaquan Burton, you have to. He's not getting it because LeJonte's really. Oh, LeJonte's not even in there. He's not even this. LeJonte's like almost a top 10 pick for me, or top 10 receiver for me. It's nuts. Yeah, here he is. Lorenzo Styles from Notre Dame. He had a good year. Wayne Ruby, D3. I have to move him up a lot. He's had a really good year too. The Mercer guys are solid too. But notice how many have to basically be coming out this year. These guys are Division I players. Solid year for him. Guy from Mass is solid. He's good. Both these guys, all these guys are good here. He's a deep threat from New Albany. Pretty impressive. But Zach Mathis, big target, 6'7", 204. Max McLeod, he's D2, but he puts up numbers. Good hands. Very fast. If he's on the field, maybe he's not like as, perfect as you want in certain situations, but yeah, the guy can play. If you don't bring in a whole bunch of like offensive talent to possibly throw at the board this year in term for you know, UDFA, or at least in terms of camps. They're nuts. There's a few other guys down here. Yeah, Kyle Sheets, that's another guy to keep an eye on. Lincoln Victor is one of the top, at least in terms of yardage this year in all FBS. I still have to figure out where I have to put him. I have too many guys. Even Hamline, who, like, you know, I had to go looking for this guy. I was like, wow, but you watch him, he can play. Edge, overloaded. This guy, Daniels. Guy's a battling ram. He's 6 foot 255. Maybe you can put him out upright edge. Got decent. I mean, his arms are kind of long for how tall he is. Obviously don't have any measurements, but it looks like it. Why is this one so, like, zoomed in? But even down here, like Juice Welkoff, Miles Cole is not in the system. Landon Jackson, I got to move up. Jalen Harrell, I got to move up a lot. David Walker's another guy that's there's up here at the top. I have some guys that are like Jean Baptiste is not in the system, and he's a beast. Kamen Rucker's not in there. Anton Jogag not in there. Top sack guy in all FCS. Justin Blazik, another guy. Jalix Hunt. JJ Weaver, I don't think was in there. Ty French was in there. Praise wasn't in there. Sundiata wasn't in there either, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of guys that are also not in the system. And notice we were able to basically have almost a full draft. Tight ends, these are guys you'd have to go digging for, but he's an interesting guy. I hope he gets like a UDFA / at least maybe a rookie minicamp invite. Can play a variety of positions. I think he'd be great at H-back, fullback situation. But he plays out wide too. He wouldn't be a liability, not wide, in the slot. Zach Hines, big blocking tight end, big target. These guys are in there, but again, just pointing out that there's a lot more guys in here. Quarterback's not even in there. My guy that I think we would probably want to do UDFA if we can target him. If we can target him, there is Matthew Sluka, one of the top rushers overall, not just at the quarterback position, overall in FCS. Garrett Schrader, really freakish athlete. Theo Day's got a cannon of an arm. Curtis Rourke also has a cannon of an arm. Dylan Gabriel, he's 5'11", 205. It's not the best, but obviously can play. He's one of the top guys in FBS. Oh, in terms of wide receiver, where's Stroops? Stroops is a good slot talent. Where did he go? Did I move him up too high, or did I take him out? Really? Drake Stroops is not in here. Am I on wide receiver? Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I guess I have to add Stroops. Oh, we see? Yeah. Oh, I'm putting Stroops in Stoops. Oh my gosh. Oh, there he is. Yeah. So keep an eye on him. Stroops. Yeah, Stroops. Gosh. That's Bob Stoops' son. But 6th year, but he's good. He's got good stats, and his tape is good, solid. Now if you can get him UDFA, great. Just another slot guy. God knows if DeMario is going to last it through the end of the year with all the concussions he's getting. Maybe that's a little facetious, but I mean, serious. Justin Barron, keep an eye on him for Syracuse. Big rover guy, 6'3", 230, has the stats for it. He's another guy that's not even in the system. Javon Morgan, not even in the system. Kyle Wisniewski, not even in the system. I don't think was Shiloh in there. PJ Jules, not in the system. Jack Henderson, my favorite star, not in the system. PJ Jules is a star, not in the system. Xavier Watts, not in the system. Well, I keep saying the system, they're not in PFF. Chris Tyree, running back, but also I got to move him to the wide receiver. But he was a pass catching, actually premier running back at Notre Dame. Guy runs like a 4.3, but now is at the wide receiver position. Maye's decent transition. The guy's doing all right. But what happens if you want to put him as a pass catching running back for us? 5'9", 195, a little small, but he's quick. He's 4.3. I mean, like 4.3 speed. So, guys to keep an eye on. Plenty of dudes out there. Chip Traham, he could be a good pickup. Beast too, absolute. I mean, built. Oh, Carson Steele. I don't think he's in the system. I watched him yesterday. He's third. Third year. He'll probably go back. But oh my gosh, what a absolute tank that guy is. Couldn't stop him at all. California was like, you had to gang tackle him to bring him down. Thor Griffith, Gabe Hall, I don't think is in the system. Briggs is a beast. I think they have him at edge though. Tyleek's in there. Riley Mills, keep an eye on him. He's a monster too. Pickering's good. Yeah, just a lot of dudes just not in there. Corners, anybody really point out that's not in the system here? Chris Abrams-Drain, I think, was in there. Cam Hart, I didn't see in there. A few other guys. Guy from Holy Cross is good. The guy from Albany is really good, too. But I don't think he's coming out. I think he might have one more year. I have fourth on there, but I think he might have one more. Linebackers, there's plenty of great linebackers coming out that we should keep an eye on. Deshaun Pace is not in the system. He's a good star potential. Richard Jimenor is not in there. Tyrese Knight. Oh my gosh. Dallas Gant. These guys are all potential UDFAs that could be solid contributors. Henderson's not in there, even despite being one of the best statistic linebackers in all of FBS. Oh yeah, him. Thumper. Easton Gibbs. Jacob Dobbs probably not in there either. Ty French. Oh yeah, I gotta watch. You know what? That's right. Florida International down. Yeah, I gotta watch him. I did, but I mean, I gotta watch him again. He might be higher than I thought. The stats are pretty good this year. There's Trevor Williams. Remember, I did a video on him. Armand Bailey's solid too. But I like him as, he's technically a linebacker on Sam Houston's depth chart, but I see him as like a pretty interesting D-back. This guy is crazy. The problem is he's D2. You got to. He's not playing against any huge, but the way he just commands the defense might only be ultimately a special teams guy, but we have to consider that stuff. He plays well, but he's not getting enough reps at Auburn. It's pretty low this year. Dylan Kelly. I think he was the number one most tackles in the FCS. Yeah, and it's Jim Kelly's nephew. Guards, anybody really to talk about besides probably Cooper? Zach Zinter, I think Cooper probably has to take over. Now, Troy, they have him as a tackle, but he's probably one of the best. Christian Haynes, yeah. 6th year, but man, does this guy know how to play. Mahogany's good. His counterpart, Hergel, he's really good too. I know I just keep saying good, but I apologize for that. See, I know he can play both. Gabe Wallace, yeah. Centers, Bryce Foster and Jacob Monk is where I'm looking at. Monk has played center, guard, and tackle. Eli Cox is good too. Torselli Simpkins, that's another guy to keep an eye on. Can possibly pick him up UDFA. But if you give me Bryce Foster in like late rounds, man, he's third, so he might come back. But man, would that be a good pickup. Fullbacks, Jaheim Bell, Brent Kuithe. He's a legit blocking fullback, but he doesn't. I mean, he's not getting the reps you'd think you want. Marshall Martin, Trent Penix is solid. G. Scott Jr., UDFA. Keep an eye on him. He's a freak athlete. Not getting as much reps because of the offense he's on, but keep an eye on him as a potential UDFA pick. He's a good big back. If all, I mean, again, somebody you might want to think bringing in for camp. Just trying some of these guys out. I mean, I even have long snappers, guys. Yes, I do. All right, sorry for the long video. Purpose here was to basically go through all those names, do some drafts, but then also realize that there's a lot more to go. We can do, if you know, it's not looking good even on day 3 and you're getting pissed off. There's a lot of talent that's not going to be drafted this year. It's just overloaded. And it's going to be interesting. I think the big thing we got to do is watch who's declaring. Because we might be in a situation where these guys are returning. They're going to go transfer portal. All these guys that are from smaller schools, they're going to try transfer portal. Coming back for another year, that might happen, and then that might thin out the herd enough that, you know, maybe the UDFA market won't be as good as I thought. But point being is there's still a lot of talent out there even after the draft, and this is the year to do it. I think you got to revamp a lot of that practice squad. Got to get creative, and you got to develop the practice squad too. You can't have these guys who are just throwaways. Got to do something. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. I hope this was at least entertaining, at least a little bit educational. Sorry for the length, but, you know, we have to have these conversations. And I want people to realize that this is the year. This is it. This is where you have your second good. I'm going to put good because we don't really know for another couple of years draft, because we don't know how good this last year was really yet. But you can potentially have a second good draft in a row. You're letting some of these guys walk, but you're bringing back some of your core guys. You're bringing back your Onwenu, your Duggar. You know, that might be it. Who else am I thinking? Hunter Henry, you bring him back. Jennings, hopefully you can bring back. I don't know about Trent Brown. I don't know about what's going to happen with Bourne. How's he going to recover? But even if you don't bring, I mean, you're going to have to bring multiple wide receivers in. You might have to dump Parker and Juju this offseason. Maybe those guys really are better than they're showing because the quarterback is so bad. And if that's the case, and we're third, you might be able to convince one of those guys above you that they could possibly, I mean, I hate to be moving up and spending a whole nother first round pick to move up one spot, but maybe we have to. Maybe you realize that your team is that good and we're just a quarterback away from being decent. I don't think we are. I think we're going to have a problem with so many free agents getting just bought out or just basically getting paid and pulling a Godchow. You got to go get guys who want to play for you. You got to do your homework. You know, overpaying for free agents is when you don't have a strong base from rookies and good core guys that you brought up. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way unless you're being ultra aggressive, and the moment these guys are not doing well, you're getting rid of them. And you're getting whatever you can from them. Because sitting there and holding on a depreciating asset while you could at least sell it and then reinvest it in some other, like, just even if it's a 6th round pick, that 6th round pick could be another Demario Douglas. You don't know that, but you also know what you have, isn't working with what you got, and you can't, and you know that it's something either with the athlete just being done, like physically or mentally, or you don't have the tools to unlock them. I can. One of those situations is happening all across in many of our players right now. So we have to, figure out a way to reassemble this, get the value that we possibly can, and move forward. There's a lot of talent this year. Free agent market's not going to be that great, which is going to hurt us because we're going to be our guys are going to probably be top targets, and I think a lot of them might just want to get out of here if they're getting just paid a little bit more. Instead of the other way around where it's like a little bit more, I think I'll stay where I like. It's like a little bit more and I'll leave. Anyway, let's end it there. Thank you for watching, and if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.